Hong Kong Disneyland is finally reopened after being closed since January to the global pandemic that's happening. And today I'm going to show you what is new in terms of all the procedures and safety measures that Hong Kong Disneyland is taking. Hey fellow explorers, my name is Chris, aka TDR Explorer, and I help you plan the perfect trip to Asia and its theme parks. Hong Kong Disneyland reopened on June 18th after being closed since January due to the global pandemic, and because of travel bans, I am not in Hong Kong Disneyland. I'm still here in Japan, but Explorer Haruka was there for the opening and got us tons of video to share with all of you, so I can explain how Hong Kong Disneyland now works with all the safety measures, social distancing, and all that stuff. There's a spider crawling very quickly across my ceiling, and it's very distracting. Stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to show you the transformation of Sleeping Beauty Castle at Hong Kong Disneyland. It's transforming into the Castle of Magical Dreams, and it's almost done and it looks gorgeous. So make sure you stick around for that. One of my favorite announcements to hear when I'm making my way to Hong Kong Disneyland. To get to Hong Kong Disneyland, you can take the train, and it is Disney themed. So you go from Sunny Bay Station to Hong Kong Disneyland, and you can take this Disney themed train. It's a staple. You have to take it. It's awesome. I just love hearing all these announcements. All the flood of memories are coming back. And here we go, going through the gates, and now we get to see the measures that Hong Kong Disneyland is taking. So here you'll see this sign saying if you've been in contact with someone who's had COVID-19, travel outside of Hong Kong last 14 days, or under mandatory quarantine, that you are not allowed to come into the park, unfortunately. And they have a temperature screening tent, which is just how they're doing it at Shanghai Disneyland. So very quick and easy, just walk right through. Oh, I love this sign, Hong Kong Disneyland. And it's always a nice walk to the front gates. Although it gets really hot, so sometimes you're sweating by the time you get there. Oh, that bird's in a hurry. For the time being, to visit Hong Kong Disneyland, you have to make a reservation in advance. If you are an annual pass holder, you just do that right through the website. And you also have to buy tickets in advance as well. So you can't just show up, unfortunately. To the left of the fountain, there are all these barricades set up to guide you through the security checkpoint, and you're going to see these white markers on the ground, and these are consistent both outside and inside the park. So in the restaurants and the attractions outside, to keep that social distance. And the security line is very long, so I guess that's good when they want to anticipate the crowds. Now they are limiting the amount of guests into the park. It's not known exactly what number they are using, but throughout the day, you'll see here that it's not that busy. This is really long. But here is the security tent, finally. You just wait your turn, and then you go through the security bag check. This process is always very painless. Once you make it inside, you're going to see all these signs similar to the ones that we saw just outside the security gates, telling you to keep your distance, and you have to wear a mask. It's mandatory when you're in the park, and you're going to find hand sanitizing stations everywhere. And Main Street USA has a bit of a different look. Castle of Magical Dreams is almost done, and man, does that change the way this looks and feels. I love the mountains in the background. I've always loved that backdrop for Hong Kong Disneyland. And this new castle look, I'm a big fan. I really am. I just can't get over how much that has changed the way this looks. I love it. I can gush about the castle all day, but I will leave that to the end of the video where I'll give you a closer look of the castle. We have some other stuff to look at first. As you may have guessed, character greetings are not happening in the traditional sense. They are being done from afar or cancelled altogether. So you may find characters roaming the different areas, like Toy Story Land, and then over here in Fantasyland you can see these are character greeting spots. Characters aren't meeting, but in this area in particular, Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff may show up where you can take pictures of them from afar. Over in Tomorrowland, though, there is one character that you can still meet, so let's go check it out. Throughout the queue here, you'll notice the white lines, and this is very consistent, like I mentioned earlier. Unlike Shanghai Disneyland, where they had a mixture of stand here, don't stand here, Hong Kong Disneyland took the stance of this is where you stand. So it makes it very clear what you're supposed to do. And you get to meet R2-D2 because he's a robot.
Hello.
And again, hand sanitizers, they're everywhere. And make sure you bring your own too. You can never have enough. Also, you'll see some characters riding different attractions. So Dumbo and Orbitron are two of the attractions that characters will ride on, and you can take pictures from afar. So there you go. That's cute. Let's talk about entertainment. Hong Kong Disneyland has their outdoor and indoor entertainment running, which is great, and they have the social distancing measures in place, which we're going to show here. So this is in Tomorrowland for the Jedi outdoor show. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's an Onward popcorn bucket. That's awesome. The Festival of the Lion King is happening, which is an indoor theater show. It is different than the one in Animal Kingdom in Walt Disney World. So outside here, you see the social distancing markers telling you where to stand, and everyone seems to be following that pretty closely. And then once you go inside here, we're gonna look at the social distancing in the seating. So you can see here, some of the seats are blocked off that you can't sit at. This is a free-for-all seating, by the way. And then here you can see the markers telling you where not to sit. So everyone is spaced out pretty good. Also, this show is fantastic, by the way. So whenever you get to Hong Kong Disneyland, you have to see this show. It is great. It's worth noting that the two parades, Paint the Night and Flights of Fantasy, aren't running currently, but are replaced with a daytime cavalcade parade. So here is one of my favorites, Mickey and the Wondrous Book, and we're just looking at the queue here. Again, we have the white markers telling you where to stand. And for this show, you want to get there early, and they are reducing capacity in here as well. So get there a good hour in advance.
Please, no running inside of here, and please remain seated.
This show was so good, you guys. Seriously, it's so worth it. It's worth the wait. The seating inside, you'll see these markers telling you where not to sit, so everyone is spaced out quite nicely. And like I said, you want to get there early because there is reduced capacity for the show. Oh, this show. Oh, this makes me so happy to hear. You guys have to see this. Seriously. Fun fact for you, the song Happily Ever After originated in Hong Kong Disneyland for the Mickey and the Wondrous Book show. Then it was redone for the fireworks show over at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. let's talk about these crowd levels. Like I mentioned earlier, Hong Kong Disneyland is reducing the amount of guests allowed into the park, so it's making it very light on the crowds, which means lower wait times across the board. But Hong Kong Disneyland really isn't known for its high wait times. A lot of the time, a lot of things have maybe half an hour wait. Usually the longest wait is Winnie the Pooh, funny enough. But you can see here, the crowds are not heavy and it's really easy to keep your distance from other guests. One of my favorite things to do at Hong Kong Disneyland is just to do laps around the park. It's just so peaceful and there's just so much to look at. I love it. I love it so much. Here's a look at the wait time board. You can see the times for the entertainment. Moana is also happening as well, which is an outdoor show. And you can see the wait times here. The highest is Toy Soldier Parachute Drop. It's a slow loading attraction, so that's really not that surprising. But across the board, yeah, 20 minutes seems like the highest, and that's pretty good. Hong Kong Disneyland usually doesn't have high wait times like I mentioned. On a busy day, you might see stuff, you know, half an hour to an hour. Really not that bad. Tomorrowland is basically turning into Marvel Land, which I am okay with. The Ant-Man attraction is really fun, by the way. It's an updated version of Astro Blasters. An Iron Man experience, which is just a better version of Star Tours, in my opinion. Very quiet throughout the park. And even on Main Street, not a lot of people. As for the attraction queues, just like the character greeting of R2-D2 that I showed you earlier, and also the security line, we have the white lines telling you where to stand with your group. Very straightforward, very easy to understand. There's no confusion on what you're actually supposed to do. And then here telling you where to stand when loading onto the attractions. And this is the roller coaster in Grizzly Gulch, which is kind of a mashup between Expedition Everest and Big Thunder Mountain. It's a lot of fun. Now the only thing they don't do is actually spacing out the rows, which I found kind of interesting. Again, we have the hand sanitizers, so you can sanitize your hands. No, those are not my nails. Again, going through the attraction queues, you see these white lines, very consistent. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I'm being consistent in repeating myself. So there's that. We have that going for me. And here on the Jungle Cruise, there are markers telling you where not to sit.
Please mind your head and stand and can sit evenly with the seat that with low levels. You can sit closer to me. I promise I don't mind. You can please sit closer to me because you may get wet at the back. Okay, you can come further down. Sorry, you need to sit with the seat with no stickers on.
Going through the Ant-Man and the Wasp queue. Again, we're going to see the exact same thing with the white markers on the ground, showing you where to stand. On the Iron Man experience, they don't fill up the row, so they have it, you're sitting on either side, and they keep the middle of each row empty, so then groups are spaced apart. So you will sit with your group side by side, but you won't be paired with other groups directly beside you. Mystic Manor. This is one of the reasons to visit Hong Kong Disneyland. Mystic Manor. It's a phenomenal attraction, and I sing its praises every chance I get. And also Albert the Monkey is adorable. 10-minute wait, that's actually kind of high. I know I was kind of contradicting myself saying it's not busy, but Mystic Manor is usually at a 5-minute wait. And it's at 10. And you see the white markers on the ground again. Consistency, it's key. They're still doing the pre-show, and once you get into the pre-show, they actually have these markers, these circles, pentagons, whatever you want to call them, on the ground telling you where to stand.
Hello, can you hear me out there from back in the projection room? Welcome to Mystic Manor.
Now let's take a look at the restaurants here. Again, we have the hand sanitizers. You're asked to sanitize before you go into the restaurants, which is good. And this is the Royal Banquet Hall, which is great because they have a whole bunch of different cuisines, so it's a cafeteria-style restaurant. For the menus, cast members ask you to scan a QR code so you can look at the menu on your mobile device instead of having a physical menu. And tables are spaced out, so there's going to be these little signs telling you where not to sit, so everyone is spaced out nicely. Inside the bakery here on Main Street, again, the white markers on the ground, and the donuts. The donuts are okay, but they look cute. You probably saw the little turtle at the beginning of the video. His name is Olu Mel, and he made his debut at Hong Kong Disneyland. He's also at Shanghai Disneyland now, and he originates from Alani, and he is one of Duffy's many friends. Duffy has a lot of friends now. Olu is really cute. I'm a fan of Olu. I'm not too sure why he came from Alani over to Shanghai and Hong Kong. He's not in Tokyo yet. I don't know when he's coming to Tokyo, but as you can see, Duffy has a lot of friends and a lot of merchandise. And there's also Cookie Ann too, which is a new friend. She's adorable. In the stores, you can see it's not very crowded, which is good, so it makes it a little less stressful when shopping. Inside the Starbucks at Hong Kong Disneyland, you can get a Hong Kong Disneyland mug, and the castle is actually outdated. They need to update this because we can now see Castle of Magical Dreams, which isn't quite done yet. They're almost done, but you can see the progress is coming along very swimmingly, and it changes the whole feel of the park, and I am living for it. I love it. The architecture of the castle represents 13 different Disney princesses, which I love, by the way. So we have Anna and Elsa, Tiana, Pocahontas, my personal favorite, Merida, Rapunzel, Aurora, Snow White, and we have a nice little image there of Castle Magical Dreams, Cinderella, Belle, Jasmine, Mulan, Ariel, and Moana. There are so many princesses in this. There, you can see from the Orbitron. You can see there's still a lot of scaffolding in the back of the castle, so they're not quite done that, but it's coming along great, just like I said. And you're going to find all these little touches that represent all the different princesses. We can't forget Frozen Land, which is set to open in 2021. If you want to get a really good view, go on the Toy Soldier parachute drop, and you can see it to the left. You can see the castle to the right, and then on the left, you can see the construction. So it's coming along. We still got some time, but I am really looking forward to all the transformations that are coming to Hong Kong Disneyland. The Frozen themed land is just behind Fantasyland, and it's beside It's a Small World. So here's Winnie the Pooh, which is directly behind Castle of Magical Dreams. This is just to kind of give you orientation as to where it is. And you can see the walls there and the cranes high in the sky making magic happen. And these walls are really cute. I have other videos showing close-up of the walls here. They've been up for quite some time. And how fitting, we have the greeting area for Frozen right here too. Like I mentioned earlier, for the greeting, it's done from afar, so you have to take your pictures of Anna and Elsa and Kristoff from afar. Unfortunately, you can't get close to them. Not yet anyway. Give it some time. Here's another angle from It's a Small World. So part of the exit for It's a Small World is blocked off, as you can see the walls there. And the cranes, very tall. Have I mentioned I'm excited for this? I mean, what am I not excited for? I get excited for everything. I cannot wait for Castle of Magical Dreams to open. It's been a long time coming, and it's been really fun to see the progress of that castle as it went from Sleeping Beauty Castle to the Castle of Magical Dreams. It's supposed to open sometime this fall. And just a reminder about Hong Kong, there are still travel bans in place. So if you're not in Hong Kong, you're probably not going to be able to travel there just yet. So just keep an eye on the travel bans. No idea when those are going to be lifted. In the meantime, you can still plan your dream vacation to Hong Kong Disneyland over on our website at tdrexplorer.com/travel guides. We just updated it with all the new procedures at Hong Kong Disneyland, and we're going to continuously update it as things change. Make sure to go check out our other videos as the theme parks reopen here in Asia. We have Universal Studios Japan, which is already open, and also Shanghai Disneyland. So make sure you go and check those out. All right, Explorers, we'll talk to you next time.